Hey, well, I'm here this morning at the International Training Station for Foundations for Farming in Harare, Zimbabwe, where my wife and I have been able to spend this last week at the International Trainers Forum, getting to visit with people practicing foundations and using it all around the world. This is an amazing place here in Harare. This training center is where they do the I Was Hungry trainings, and today you can see all these chairs here. They have another group coming in. They bring around 30 people from a village and train them in farming, in discipleship, faith, in family, and in finances. And then they send them back to their village for an amazing critical mass of people to change their community. And this morning we're about to fly out to head back to the U.S., but I wanted to give a little tour of their amazing plots here that they use to demonstrate high standards. So here we are in the vegetable garden. They teach rotations, so we have the root crop plot here, which also has a few other vegetables mixed in, but that's the primary grouping. So you can see amazing stand of carrots here. Just beautiful. I think there's 5 rows to a bed. Their onions, all their beds are pegged out, and each one in U.S. measurements is about 5 foot from center of bed to center of bed, and but everything's mulched, laid out beautifully straight. Wow, a lot of other onions here. And this area where they're growing these vegetables actually used to be horse arenas. This was an equestrian center before many years ago, and without any plowing they chopped all the grass off and laid out these beds, and you can see how beautiful and healthy the crops are. Have some pepper plants set out here, getting ready to for the summertime, just their early spring. See some beautiful lettuces. We've been enjoying some of these for breakfasts, and a few more set out here. Some tomatoes. So this is just an amazing model for the people coming here of what they can do to grow food for their families. And it's been amazing to see as we were able to travel around to some of the villages to see some of the people implementing this. Here's their herb garden, which they teach, and they actually divide it up by use. So these are culinary herbs. We have thyme, parsley, perennial basil, marjoram, rosemary, and garlic chive. They have handouts and teach how to make things from all of these. Mike is the amazing herbalist there. This is all these for pesticidal uses, so marigolds for nematodes. So here we have the medicinal herbs, lemongrass, artemisia, some sweet violet, mint, nasturtium, and then over here we have topicals, so lavender, bulbinella, and aloes, soapwort, comfrey. Since it's early spring, they don't have any of their summer crops growing, but these are the plots where they demonstrate maize and soybean production. As an example, like this plot here shows late planted and how much less yield you get. They have demonstrations of compost versus chemical fertilizer, just to give people an example of that they can actually see the effects of the principles they're being taught. This right here is what's called a Pumvudza plot, and or an I Was Hungry plot. It's not a very big area here. You can see this right here. It's a 39 by 16 meters, and growing maize with inputs of only $50, a family can grow enough food to feed themselves for a whole year on this little plot right here, doing it to high standards and foundations for farming principles. Many people try to grow a whole hectare or two, and can't feed themselves. It's amazing to see what faithfulness can do on just a small plot like this. A great tool for the poor learning to feed themselves. Here we have their composting section. You can see the mature piles here, all the piles in different stages of decomposition, and their piles of material over here. It's amazing to see how simply they teach it and how effectively people in the villages here go back and implement it, and it frees them up from being dependent on buying chemical fertilizer. This is an absolutely mind-blowing crop of wheat. It's just thick and beautiful, grown in a circle here. This circle plot they normally use with corn in the summertime. They plant rows like spokes on a wheel going to the center, showing different spacing and how it affects the growth of the crops. But William has done an amazing job with this crop of wheat, and it's inspiring me to want to go home and grow some myself, because I could probably feed my family all the bread we need for a year off of something like that. There's not much growing right now, but they have a lot of alternative crops that they show here. This is cassava. They had sorghum growing here, and even rice and other things. So to be able to show people for the crops that might be appropriate in their particular environment. This is a new project they have that Daryl Edwards has started. It's teaching people to feed and grow black soldier flies for nutritious animal feed, particularly for chickens. So they're feeding all their waste kitchen scraps to grow some amazing protein source. They also have a really nice prayer walk that my wife and I did the other morning. This is an incredible little garden called the 100-fold Garden. It's developed especially for small urban areas where they are lacking on space and don't have a whole lot of water available to them. So there's actually like a plastic liner deep under the ground here, and water is put into this little pipe here, and you can grow very high density of crops, like square foot gardening, and it's even denser spacing than would normally be used in the field here, for basically like 2 gallons of water a day. And it's a very closed system. All the vegetable wastes go in this little container there, which allows worms to go in and out the bottom and put the fertility back into the system. So something I would like to look at trying at our place. This is their little nursery here. They also have a vermicomposting system here. The worms, a worm farm, small one here, and then a large one underneath there. And this is the project that they hope will be used by God to eventually fund all their trainings here. It's a production field of Moringa, which is like a superfood. The leaves can be dried and have an incredible amount of nutrients in them. Can be very helpful for the poor in terms of helping prevent malnutrition, and then can be great for smoothies and health drinks as well. So praying that God can bless the marketing and production here so that they can support themselves. We've really enjoyed our amazing time here at the foundation station in Harare. You can see these gorgeous plots out here, and just these amazing standards, high standards, and just how well everything is managed. And when you're here, you really can sense the heart, the love for Christ, and the passion for serving the poor and bringing hope to the broken people of the world. And it's been so inspiring for my wife and I to be here. You can see Dorothy's down there, wave, and for us to be here together and really getting inspired for what we pray that God will do in the U.S. And so we're ready to get home and get started. So we're gonna go eat breakfast here in a bit and then hop on our plane. So we'll see y'all later.